The National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Bode, has confronted former Rivers Governor and current Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, asserting that no one is above the party. In response to a threat to cause trouble in states of governors pushing to destabilize the PDP structure in Rivers last weekend, Ologunagba reiterated that the party is more significant than a single individual. The National Publicity Secretary also expressed confidence in the party's preparedness to win Edo polls later this month.
The Governors Forum is a body that has its own regulation, and they respond to issues like this as they come, particularly when it concerns them. I would expect, and I do know that the Governors Forums will speak to that. What we know is that anybody, and this is clear, that there's nobody is above this party, and you must take it home and take it to the bank. It might be slow. It's like justice, because the wheel of justice grinds slowly, but it grinds well, ultimately. What we know is that this party, because it is People's Democratic Party, and we have governors that are very, very committed to this party.
Now let's deepen the discussion as PDP chieftain and Nigeria statesman Bode George examines the impact of ongoing reconciliation and undercurrent of the 2027 presidential race. Welcome to Arise News. Thank you for joining us.
Always my pleasure. Thank you.
Now, the internal crisis continues in the People's Democratic Party, and especially with the former governor of Rivers State, Wike, being at the center of it all. But we know that you have said earlier in some of your comments that this crisis started with the emergence of the former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, during the primaries for the 2023 elections. Now, the former governor has also said that all the PDP governors, he has called them to a duel, saying that if they interfere in the state politics, that's the River State politics, he would, he has made a lot of threats as to what he would do if they continue to interfere. I'd like to hear your thoughts on all of this. We know that the PDP has set up a reconciliatory committee as well as a disciplinary committee. What are your thoughts on all of this?
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to bear my minds and talk about the only Iroko political party in this country. Two wrongs don't make a right. Yes, it is despicable and unacceptable, the comments by the former governor of Rivers State and the federal minister of FCT. No rational mind would listen to that and would jump to support it. It is very, very unfortunate and unacceptable. But like I said, two wrongs don't make a right. We want to be holistic, to prepare the party, to get the party back to what it was, the only political party that you will find in any corner of this country. It just didn't start now, all these quarrels. And at my age, my concern has been the way I see all the goings on. I get so scared, because I was in secondary school in the early 60s. And that was exactly the way it started in Western Nigeria. Internal wranglings of their party. Baba Kitola asked Papa Fanika Ode to join up with him, and then there was an election coming. The action group then gave Papa Digbenro to contest on their platform, while I was in secondary school. And these are lessons we learned. So when I talk about the goings on now, my major concern is, listen, we must avoid the pitfalls of the past because it's like a repetition of what happened. Wike has no right to have said those things that he said. It is unacceptable. It is very, very, very disturbing. Now, nobody, no party will accept that. And my suggestion to the National Working Committee, I spoke with the acting chairman and some of the people in the National Working Committee, that the best way to approach would have been to set up a committee of elders, youths, and women to look at the activities of the party pre-national election, during the national election, and post-national election. When that report is ready, that's when you will need to have these two committees that they set up. It's in our constitution, yes. And I looked at the way it was configured, the list of the personnel there, and I said to myself, no, we've not been very fair. I spent 10 years at the national headquarters of our party. 10 years. The best way to do it, let's do it the way those old men who sacrificed so much to establish and inaugurate this PDP. There are norms, and there is a constitution. You know, all these things we are doing now just didn't start last weekend. First of all, the people who came to conduct the primaries, the congresses in Rivers and some other states, they didn't just come from the blues. I was shocked when I looked at it. It was on the TVC that I saw Wike talking, and I looked, I said, this is a state congress. Where is the leader of the party in Rivers State? So I think we need to take 2 steps back, go back to the original ways by which we managed this party. I'm begging all sides. You can see the ship of state drifting so badly and wobbling. You start from the oil sector, the supply of petrol to the public. My office is not too far from that
Chief Bode George.
Station, the NNPC station.
Chief George, please allow me to interrupt you.
And I am begging, yes, okay.
Please allow me to interrupt you. You know, I'm sensing a bit of contradiction in your words. You know, you say 2 wrongs do not make a right, but at the same time, it seems you want to continue to mollycoddle the FCT minister. This is somebody that has been sabotaging your party for a while. You saw the role he played in the 2023 election. And it's just now we are hearing that you're setting up a disciplinary committee, and then you feel that they should be fair, examine both sides. You know, it's to an outsider looking in, it seems like this individual in question is bigger than your party that you have likened to an Iroko tree. My young daughter, let me be frank with you. Codling anybody, you must be, well, you are not a member of our party. Codling anybody in this matter, I have said it very clearly. No civilized, committed member of the party would accept the way Wike spoke. It is unacceptable. Fine. The people, and I said, when I didn't know that was going to be a Congress, but when I saw it, I was looking when he was talking, where was the governor? The governor of our party is the leader of the party in that state. So what do you want me to do? Insult him or insult the party?
we have a problem. And when you have elders in the room, you come and be the elder in the room. Everybody must be quiet now. There was something that happened. That's why I said that setting up disciplinary and reconciliation has to start with the report to examine the activities of the managers of the party and the members of the party pre-election, during the election, and post-election. How else do you think you can solve the problem? Is there an organization anywhere in the world that you do not go through this crisis? And I have waded into worse scenarios than this. We can handle it. But the way the ship of state is drifting so badly would affect this nation. The younger generations must be coddled and be lifted. You don't think coddling somebody for what? You want to coddle? Rome is burning, and where is the emperor?
All right, let me just...
where is the emperor?
Let me butt in here, if I may.
So what I said was that don't just... what I said was, let me make it very clear.
All right.
Young lady, you cannot start to send them to the disciplinary committee. There must be an investigation by a special committee to look at the activities of the party and its members before that general election in 2023, during the general election, and post-election. That is when once they now get the report from that from the special committee to do a post-mortem analysis of our activities. That's when you will look at it, the NWC will look at it, and then inform the NEC and proceed
all right.
to discipline those who have erred and those who are done well. So that the essence of that is to prevent a reoccurrence of the pitfalls of the past as you move forward.
All right, well understood. But we would like to know, I'd like to know when exactly this whole process would start, because we know that for democracy to be healthy, the process of investigating the past, the present, and the future that you just talked about, we know that for a strong democracy, you need a strong opposition. And if the opposition, the PDP, is not putting his house in order, then you cannot form a formidable opposition when it comes to governors and bringing the current government to, putting them on their toes. I know that, yes, you talked about the fact that you were not interested in being a part of the reconciliation committee, saying that Tommy Kimi, being the head of that committee, puts a question to you being a part of that committee. Now, if you are talking about constituting another committee to investigate what happened in the past, before the elections, during the elections, and after the elections, who are the people who would constitute this committee? Would it be the current reconciliatory committee, or are you suggesting another committee?
Young lady, I want you guys to listen very well. What I'm saying is simple. The norm, the ways that these things are conducted. And I said to the managers of the current managers of the party that immediately after the election, we should have set up a committee to do a post-mortem analysis of the activities before the election, during the election, and post-election. That's when you would have been able, without any interference, to send those who have erred in one way or the other to either the disciplinary committee or the reconciliation committee. And you don't jump and start to look at what he did. I cannot support, and I don't support, the activities of the way he carried on. This party, but for the fact that the party had been so solidified in its infancy that the roots are well deep in this nation, he would have gone into oblivion. And I am quite concerned that the behaviors generally we need to revisit. Look, I feel that it is still possible. We have some elections going on. We have some crises in some states. We have all sorts of things happening, which will happen in any political organization, or even any company. The ability of our elders and the leaders to stand above the pettiness will be the conviction of the electorate to trust us that, if you give it to PDP, they will do well. So it is not, I see the lack of experiences you guys have there, but please, simplicity. Let us do it the way it should be done so that we learn the mistakes of the past and prevent such mistakes from erupting in the future. That is all. We have the most brilliant chances now to win the election. But a divided house will remain a defeated house. That's all I am saying as an elder. I'm a life member of the Board of Trustees. I didn't make myself. It is as a result of the experiences you have garnered. And we need to. And they need to tap into all kinds of things. I always make these comments each time I have this political conversation. Papa Ekweme, who was the former vice president of this country, was the chief convener of those founding fathers. Chief Bola Ige was invited from the Southwest. The governor, former governor of Anambra, I've forgotten his name, but he himself and Papa Ekweme were never friendly politically. The same with Papa Solomon La, Alhaji Rimi, and all these people gathered together to reason. First of all, they did some work on what happened in the First Republic. They knew what happened. They were not satisfied with it. They noted it down. At that time, in 1960, majority tribes were in full control in whatever regions you go. And the minority tribes were just onlookers. There was no chance for any of those people in the minority area to be somebody with substantial contribution. They didn't. So that little thing started. There was crisis in Western region, the Wete, the Agbekoyas, and you know where it all ended? It ended in the Civil War. And because I was old enough to understand these dynamics, that's why we are saying, please, no half measures. There is a problem. No rushing. I am not telling them to whether they invite A or B or C. That's not my business.
Chief
Whatever
George.
they need, they must call a meeting of the National Executive Committee of the party, because he himself is still a member of NEC, and you cannot discipline a member of NEC just off the records. No. Let's do it transparently so everybody will see it. And it is not, and I like what the publicity secretary said, that nobody is bigger than the party. Nobody. And it is not the private enterprise of any individual. No. There are mistakes that have been made. We are now trying to cover it, and what Wike did was not acceptable to me.
Chief Bode George.
No.
Please
And
allow
I
me
said
to
it
interrupt
openly.
you.
So it is not. It's the methodology, the way they have done it, that we are saying, let's have a bit of caution here.
Well, very well
I was
said.
giving them my own experience.
Very well said, Chief Bode George. You know, your experience is acknowledged and appreciated, which is why we always love to have this type of discussion with you, and we keep inviting you to Newsday. Now, looking ahead to 2027, there are reports, you know, that three of the leading opposition figures in the last election, that's Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and Rabiu Kwankwaso, you know, might be looking towards forming an alliance to defeat the APC in 2027. What are your thoughts on this? That's my first question. And then secondly, these three gentlemen are all from the PDP. So in retrospect, you know, what could the PDP have done better, you know, so that this sort of division that exists now would not have happened?
Okay. This is why I said there are some who will be elders in the room. The Board of Trustees is a body of experienced, very well manicured people, morally, intellectually, to look at issues without fearing anybody. Because right now, the party is divided, and it worries my mind. I should be sitting quietly in my house now, about 80. What am I looking for? But we cannot allow the dedication, the complete, total love that established this party. There are so many parts of the party constitution that they have missed in our ability to sustain, maintain, and hold this party. When I said the ship of state is drifting, we don't have a substantial opposition, then what are we going to do? Let us wake up. There are procedures for doing primaries, presidential primaries, and the Section 7, subsection 3C of our Constitution still accepts that there should be zoning and rotation of party-elected offices and the party offices. Those to be elected and those to manage the party. They go hand in glove. They were the ones who divided, that's the founding fathers, this nation into 6 geopolitical zones. It's not in our national constitution, but it's in the constitution of the PDP. And having set up that 6 political regions, they now said there will be 6 top positions. So every zone will go home with one position or the other. And when, you know, after 8 years, everything in the southern sector will go to the north. Everything in the north must come to the south. Who left? Who was the former president? General Buhari. Where is he from? The south? No. These are areas. But we had a committee where it was agreed that because the meeting that they set did not consider. All right,
Chief Bode George, because of the time constraints that we have, we might have to.
Simultaneously with with those people.
All right, let's just hear
presidential candidates and all that. So
okay.
It's amazing. You can't start a journey halfway and say you have covered it. No. Let's go to the roots of the problems and all those involved.
All right,
why they did it, why they didn't do it. It shouldn't be half measured. That's all I'm saying. It cannot be, because if you want the Nigerian public to love your party and believe in your party, you must show a total commitment, dedication, and loyalty to this great nation of ours. That's all.
All right, absolutely. Point taken. We'd just like to know if you have any particular candidates in mind, because you have said that it should be zoned to the southern part of the country, especially for the next elections.
Right. For 8 years. Yeah. Yeah. But am I God? You want me to talk about to name a candidate? Who knows who will be alive in 2027? Do I have a crystal ball? I don't believe in that. I believe in the Almighty God. But I tell you, the fact that we did not handle the primaries well at the National Convention, that is why we are here in this situation. We must follow the Constitution. The man who was there for 8 years and managed Nigeria for 8 years comes from Katsina State. And where is Katsina State? North. This position definitely must come to the south. That's all. Because, like they said, they call it turn by turn Nigeria Limited. In fact, it gave an opportunity that even somebody who is from the minority can someday become the president of this country. So that crisis of too many people had been thrown into the dustbin. If only the majority tribes will continuously be ruling, problem. And they were able to resolve it. So all we are saying, what happened before the general election and what happened during the election and exactly what has happened after the election. That's the committee that the NWC will nominate those who are going to be there and bring it to the National Executive Council of the party. So that once you get approval from there, it becomes law.
Very well said.
I mean, what else do you want me to say? Let's follow the constitution of the party.
Very well said.
Everybody, I am pleading with everybody to calm down for the sake of the younger generation and for the sake of our country. Look at what happened in America recently.
Elder statesman, Chief Bode George, I'm so sorry, we are completely out of time. Elder statesman, PDP chieftain, Chief Bode George, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.